And we're live again. Well, when you watch this, I might not be live, so I probably shouldn't say that. Okay, so Treasures of Darkness. We're reading just these, page and a half, and it's the end of the letter from April that covered Easter. 14th of April, Tuesday evening, same letter continued. This afternoon, a handful of us were treated to a sexual health talk. Apparently, I needed to brush up on sexually transmitted infections. It's assumed that upon release, we will burst out of here, abuse substances, and forget how to choose wisely when it comes to men. I saw a huge cultural gap yawn open, and I thank God for my marriage. Back at the prison, sugar and butter were rationed to each table, but we ran out quickly. So I learned to live without sugar, butter, full cream milk, my family, and my privacy. Now, thanks to the sexual health talk, I was cruelly reminded of other fun things I'm living without. Thank you for your letters. It makes me feel normal and connected to hear about everyday things going on. One of the letters mentioned the colour conference. So some of you were going down to the colour conference in Sydney that week. And oh my goodness. And that's hosted by Hillsong Church in Sydney. Maybe I'll be able to go next year. Another friend of ours had been to the colour conference, and she told me how she wished she could be one of the speakers. Then she felt the Lord ask, "And what would you say?" Well, she might have had messages for a certain level then, but now she's in Uganda with her husband, who is rebuilding a hospital that was destroyed during the civil conflict. Now, she's not in Uganda now, but at the time, while I was incarcerated, she was in Uganda and doing those things. So she was in a tough situation as well. So she wasn't in prison, but she was doing it tough over there. So she, and obviously, while she's there, she's building things into her life that will actually give her something of substance to share with other people. Yeah. So my friend is creating her message just as I am. I had joked with her about her hardship at least being honourable and noble, and mine is not something I can be proud of. Of course, the Lord has never hesitated to help me squash my pride. Lots of opportunities to get embarrassed, so it's like, oh well. So, there we go. Hello, Evangelist Chris. You're watching from Pakistan. It's good to have you watching. Lovely to have you here. And I just talked about sexual health, and it's Pakistan. Well, never mind. Enjoy. So there we go. Different cultures. There we are. Okay. Ironically, I reckon I'm a lot more comfortable than she is right now. So that's my girlfriend in Pakistan. Uganda. Yeah. So, yeah, I think she was doing it a bit more rugged. The dinner bell rings, and like Pavlov's dogs, we troop into the dining room, trained to expect food. No physical privations here. Well, some people didn't like the food. I'm grateful for anybody else who cooks. I just shut up and say thank you. Whatever you are doing, your life is your message. Maybe it's not for a platform in front of thousands. Maybe it's for your play group, your business associates, your family. Remember that first and foremost, your message is for you. What you're getting out of what you're going through, those revelations you get are for you first. If your message doesn't change you for the better, well then perhaps you need to give it a bit more thought and prayer. Because often we'll get an idea for a message and we'll think, oh, this is good for that person. Or even sitting in church listening to a message and think, oh, I hope so-and-so's listening. They need this. But the revelation you get is for you first. And if it's not changing you, you're not spending enough time in it. Because that's how we change, is in spending time with him and getting that inner revelation. And if you're not a Christian, when you meditate, when you think and you get ideas about how things could be, well, those are things that you need to apply in your life first too, because you can't tell someone else how to do things if you're not applying them yourself. Anyway, yeah, a bit more thought and prayer. So many want to speak to thousands, but few realize the price that may be paid to earn the scars required for that kind of platform. Lots of people want to be on the platform. That's what I like about our church, is that we don't call it a stage. It's not a stage, it's a platform. It's not an audience, it's a congregation. And it's not a performance, it's ministry. You get those things mixed up, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. If you're doing it for the excitement and the glory, then look out, you'll come a gutser. So I told God I didn't want a Joseph experience. I'd settle for something less than being 2IC of Egypt. If you don't know, think of Joseph and his Technicolor Dreamcoat. You know, he went to Egypt, he went to prison, his brothers sold him into slavery, but he ended up high up in Egypt. Well, I'd settle for something less, is what I told God, if the suffering didn't have to be quite so intense. I really don't, oh my goodness. This is not going to make me sound very good. So I told God I didn't want a Joseph experience. I'd settle for something less than being 2IC of Egypt. I told him I really don't care sufficiently for his people to endure the suffering I might face. Right? I just don't care enough about them to go through this for them. That's how I felt. Kind of. I had said that. I think that was during the time when I was facing prison, and I thought, no, I'm not going to prison. No, I'm not willing to do that, and I had to get to that point of being willing. Anyway, now I believe the suffering is worth it to see the great results. I still don't want to be 2IC of Egypt. I'm happy with wherever he decides to put me now and later. I've learned to be content. Love to all, your friend, Trish. That is the end of that letter. Death to self. That I'm not a fan of suffering. If I can avoid it, of course I will. But when you're going through something, my goodness, all I can say is don't waste a good adversity. Get out of it if you can. You know, do what you need to make things right. But my goodness, draw what you can from it. Take the lessons from it. Let God do a work in you so that when you come out the other side, you've got something worthwhile to offer. And I tell you what, when you know you've got something worthwhile to offer and it affects people, my goodness, you will say, my God, it was worth it. All right, bless you heaps, and I'll see you next time.